We're talking about car dealer scams that drove them to prison.
Oh, I'd like a low mileage car. Hold on 1 minute.
Well, once they get out, they're going to be high mileage, I'll tell you.
Welcome to the closing table with the Money Guys, Sidney Young and Jared Parrish. This episode is being brought to you by Allura Financial, AlluraFinancial.com, your source for real estate investment funding. Now, presenting the Money Guys. All right. Welcome to the closing table, Money Guys. My name's Sidney Young.
And Jared Parrish.
You know why we're the Money Guys? Because we
got
your
money.
fucking money. Oh, sorry. Shouldn't curse. What if there's a juvenile
At least not
watching?
this early.
You know,
Warm up to it.
Warm up to it. You know what I'm saying? You're right. Okay. We cuss too much around this office. We got to incorporate a new rule.
You know, they say, statistically speaking.
Who's they?
That people, statistics.
Oh.
That people who curse more frequently
Statistics.
are
Is that the stick
statistically more
people?
honest.
Is it the stick people statistics?
Mm-hmm. No, they're the state people.
So if you curse, you're more honest.
Yeah.
You're a fucking liar.
Statistically speaking.
You're a fucking liar.
Prove it.
Okay, we're done cursing. See, we can do it on a podcast. We can curse.
Yeah, no FCC.
It makes us look very degenerate, but oh well.
Hey, you know what? We appeal to a different crowd.
We do appeal.
Speaking of appealing to crowds.
We're coming to you live from Houston, Texas, downtown Houston, Texas. See the background, Christina sitting back there. Wave, Christina. There she is. And
She actually did it. That's
she, look there. She actually does it. See, and cars going by. So we are live in Houston, Texas today. It's hot today. It's 83 out
warm.
there.
It's warm. Definitely
It's
warm.
Definitely warm. It's 83. What's going on in Houston, man?
I don't know. Today is a nice warm 83 degrees. 20% chance of rain.
All right, weatherman. Let me tell you what's happening in Houston, Texas, and we're getting this response from other areas of the country as well. Real estate's freaking booming, man.
On fire.
You can't keep a house up for sale for more than 2. If it's 3 days, you've got it overpriced.
Pretty much. And
we sold one. How long? 2 days.
yeah, 2 days.
I was supposed to show it today, and he told me last night he got a contract on it. I said,
Yep.
God dang it! I was going to go out and show. I was actually looking forward to go out there and show it today.
I won.
Shing shing.
Yeah, no,
You
it's
can
good.
win
It's
all you
good
want.
times. Good times in the real estate industry. Homing prices, house prices are on the rise.
Yeah.
And I mean, pretty much across the board, even in the towns, cities, and states that are losing a shit ton of people because the local politics there and taxes are too high, so they want to go to another state where it's a little bit better. You know, like Texas. But even in those states that are losing a lot of people, their home prices are still going up.
People would say, well, what's it like in Houston as far as real estate market? And the common response today is, you remember last year about this time when we were trying to find toilet paper? Mm-hmm. That's what it's like.
Pretty
right?
much, yeah.
So,
I mean, you walk into a store, no homes on the shelves. Yeah, no, it's tough to find one. And with real estate investors, it's tough to find a good wholesale deal.
it is. So when you get one, man, it moves quick.
Yeah,
That's good news.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like dropping chum in the water and watching the sharks fight.
You know, yeah, we used to make, I don't know, 15, 20 grand on a deal, on a wholesale deal. Now we're down to 5 and 10 because we're moving it so quick. And you got to lower the price to get it going. So
yeah, you got to be competitive.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm not the guy that likes to take advantage of a deal. You know, we've got plenty of volume that come through.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we could be a little bit more reasonable with what we charge. So it works.
There
out.
you go.
Works
So
out.
if you are a property owner out there and you want to do something with your property and you want money for it quick, get a hold of us, man.
Absolutely, we've got some buyers waiting. It's a feeding frenzy.
It's terrible. I'll get you out there in the water and the sharks go whoosh, swallow ya.
You're gonna bite your finger off.
Swallow ya. Speaking of biting fingers off, today Jared come up with I don't even know how you come up with this idea, but he came up with a really spiffy idea for today's show.
Yeah. Sometimes in the shower, it just kind of depends. So, for the show.
Show, yeah.
I was
The wrong idea.
So, no. For one, the show's doing well.
Yeah. There's people
we're
around the
getting
world.
a lot of people across the country, across the globe, and we've got a number of listeners that are listening to every show in Boston, Massachusetts. So I want to
man.
give a nice shout out to Boston, Mass. and say
BM.
thank you for listening.
Thank you for the BM, Boston.
That was fun. That was funny.
BM.
That was funny.
Okay, never mind. I don't know. I hit these sound effects. Right?
That's what it should. Just glad you didn't make a New England clam chowder joke. So.
You know.
No, but out there, Boston, Mass, thank you very much. Appreciate it. So today's show, we're talking about car dealer scams that drove them to prison.
Oh, I'd like a low mileage car. Hold on 1 minute.
But once they get out, they're going to be high mileage. I'll tell you. Now we've got some funny things. A lot of people, they get a little greedy. Greedy can be bad sometimes. You want to be a little bit more reasonable with what you do.
remember back in the day, before the digital mileage, you had the kind, and they would get in there and they'd roll that damn thing back?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, you could hook a drill up to it and roll it back.
Could you really? Mm-hmm. Oh, shoot. How you know that?
You don't need to know.
He got brief. Never
And
mind.
what's funny is before that, you didn't have so many digits on there.
Yeah.
It was, I think you had 5 instead of 6 now.
Yeah.
And
So never buy a
if you
fucking
had
car for
100,000 miles on it, it would click over back to 0, and it would look like you had 0
Don't
miles.
ever buy a car for him. Ever.
Yeah.
Almost never drove it. My grandma took it to church and back on Sundays. That's it.
A quick funny story. My grandfather sold a car,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was a late 50s Ford Fairlane.
Oh, yeah. I love those.
And he had 120,000 miles on it.
Mm.
But on the odometer, it looked like it only had 20,000 miles on it. So when he's selling it, the guy was like, "Man, so it's got 20,000 miles on it." And my grandfather said, "Yep, every bit of it."
Every bit of it. And then some.
He's like, "I didn't lie."
So these are people, when I tell the story, who are these people?
So these are people, these were car dealerships, people who worked at car dealerships, whether it be an individual salesman there, the owner of the car dealership, general manager. It's people across the board that had their own little money schemes going on inside.
Dude, right here in Houston, Texas, I don't know if he's on the list. Are they on it? Landshark?
No, Landmark Chevrolet is not on the list.
They were in Houston, Texas. They took up a whole block. It was a car lot years ago. Took a whole block on the North Freeway, which is the major freeway going through Houston. And you're like, man, they must sell thousands of cars a week. And then the guy went to prison for something.
Yeah, well, for one, they were playing fast and loose with financing, I believe it was with GMAC.
Yeah.
They had a deal that you could buy your car and no payments for 4 months.
Really?
So what a lot of the salesmen were doing, they'd buy a car,
Yeah.
and then trade it in every 4 months.
So you never had to make a payment.
Never made a payment.
That's pretty smart. What was the problem? How was that illegal?
You're not allowed to do it like that.
Oh.
But these scams, now that was one. I mean, they found out that they were really manipulating points. They were manipulating interest rates, and it was just a huge proverbial cash cow for the dealership. They were taking advantage of people, which is a bad thing. Not supposed to do it.
Get the jail thing?
Yeah, and what happens when you do that is...
You're so money and you don't even know it.
Nah, where is it? It's on there somewhere.
Anyway, so these are people who are in the car business that defrauded people and went to jail.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they went to jail. So number 10, so we always start with the bottom, go up. Number 10, a fake dealer gets 5 years for fraud and drug possession.
A fake
Gotta
dealer.
love that one, yeah.
Well,
So, Montgomery, Alabama, businessman Gene Earl Easterling was accused of posing as a licensed auto dealer to fraudulently obtain 16 auto loans worth $682,980. Now, he will spend 63 months in federal prison after being convicted of bank fraud, mail fraud, and possession of cocaine with the intent to distribute.
Gene Lee.
No bueno on that dude.
So Gene was didn't have a car lot. Was putting in loans for now he's putting in loans for cars that didn't exist
Correct.
and getting them financed and just pocketing the money.
Yes.
Wow. So when they go repossess a car, there's no car to repossess.
The cars didn't exist.
The old fake straw buyer car trick.
Yeah. Instead of a straw buyer, you're buying straw. I mean, it ain't there. So, number 9, in Massachusetts, no offense, Mass, sorry.
Yeah.
Massachusetts dealer agrees to pay nearly $1 million in settlement. So the former owner of, the Automax Group of independent dealerships agrees to pay $750,000 in restitution. plus a suspended penalty of $175,000 to settle charges brought by the Massachusetts Attorney General's office, including misrepresenting warranty and service contracts coverage and failing to disclose fees. So they were starting to pump in a bunch of fees. They were adding in different warranty stuff. They were manipulating everything, basically just screwing people out.
I love when these things go to court and the guy goes to jail and says, you got to pay $60 billion back in restitution. He goes, yeah.
Yep. Well, in these cases, it's either you pay it or you go to the clink.
Oh, well, in that case, here's your money.
That's the way I look at it. I mean, paying restitution, I mean, it sucks, but it's better than, going to pound me in the ass prison. That's my opinion.
Why has it got to be pound me in the ass prison? Don't they have a non-pound me in the ass prison?
No, I don't think they do.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
I'd request that one if I were y'all.
Yeah, or a chastity belt. I mean, do I have something metal
Jared
that I
may
can just
like
protect
to pound
myself?
me in the ass prison. Hey, to each their own, okay?
No, I don't think I would.
We'll leave it alone.
Nope. The whole bowl of nopes right there.
Who we got next, man?
All right, number 8, in Florida, Chevrolet dealership agrees to pay $1 million settlement. So the former owner of Jacksonville Riverside Chevrolet agrees to pay $1.47 million to settle a fraud and tax evasion charges. So the Florida Attorney General, Ashley Moody, said an investigation triggered by local news reports.
She's
so this
moody,
whole thing
man.
was moody, like in Galveston?
She's moody.
Yeah, yes, very moody.
Oh, Ashley?
Yeah, at least 25% of the time. So the newspaper, this was something that was initially reported to the newspapers. A lot of people do that. Honestly, I mean, I think that's when a lot of things do get done, is when it gets into the media.
Yeah.
They found that dealerships systematically failed to pay liens on trade-ins. So people were trading in their car and owed money on it, and they went ahead and just sold the car outright and never actually paid.
Do you know what you find? That's the guy who changes paper dealer tag every other month and never gets a real plate.
Right? I know. Every time I see those on the road, I'm like, oh, they ain't got insurance.
They just stay the hell away from them. They'll run into you. What they got to lose,
Yeah, not only do they not have insurance, but they also don't have any assets or any money. Or if they hit you, you're screwed. So that's not fun.
No.
And that happened to me once.
What, you had a paper dealer tag?
No, I got rear-ended by someone who had a paper dealer tag.
Oh, apparently you were in a rear-ended prison? Oh,
no, I was on 45.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the police did absolutely nothing.
Well, what do you want them to do?
Well, something.
Phooey, you're in Houston, Texas.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So anyway, on to number 7. A fake Finco scored 80 auto loans worth $1.7 million. 7 defendants accused of operating fake auto dealerships and a fake auto finance company will spend up to 34 months in prison for fraudulently securing auto loans for non-existent vehicles. I'm starting to notice a trend here. Sydney.
Exactly.
And
that's like a Ponzi scheme kind of thing, almost.
Yeah. The prosecutor says that the scheme netted about $1.7 million over 4 years.
Wow.
Now, if you really think about that, that's
not a whole lot.
I was gonna. That's kind of my point. So now $1.7 million sounds like a lot of money. Okay, no one's gonna disagree with that.
Yeah.
So we're looking at $1.7 million.
Yeah.
Over 4 years.
48 months.
So that's $425,000 a year, but that's over 7 people.
How much?
$60,000 a year.
That's it?
That's all they were getting. Go get a job,
man. Hey, with the new minimum wages, you can flip burgers for that.
Yeah, pretty much, right? I mean, probably not quite that much, but still, I mean, I'm sorry. To make $60,000 a year, that ain't worth going to prison.
No, it's not. And speaking of minimum wages, guess what time it is?
Uh-oh.
It is time for for a defunct commercial. Be right back.
In 1917, life was a lot different. A bank was needed that could serve this growing community. It was called Bankers Trust. Over the years, a lot has changed, but Bankers Trust is still here. Still helping people with their financial needs. Still working to make our community grow. And ready for whatever the future brings. Bankers Trust. It's our name and our promise.
Uh-oh. They is no longer in business.
Yeah.
Remember, don't call them. They ain't going to answer.
Yeah, they saw their stock and went, uh-oh.
One of these days, we're going to throw everyone off. We're going to have a real commercial here. And the people with the real commercial, they're going to think we're out of business now.
All right, they're like, who's defunct now?
Maybe it's a bad luck thing. Go ahead.
Who knows, man.
Okay, we're talking about people went to jail with fraudulent car
people
dealer
who work-
scams.
Yeah, car dealership scams that drove them to prison.
Drove them nuts.
I like that little pun. I came up with it myself.
Drove them to
just
prison.
FYI.
Where are you going? I'm headed to prison. Okay, keep going. You can't get pulled over. You get pulled over, well, you can say, hey, I'm
getting a police escort. Your mother.
going to jail, man. What the hell?
I'm already going to jail. What, are you going to give me a ticket too? I already had to pay $1.5 million in restitution. That's an extra $1.75.
What else we got here?
All right, so number 6, we've got a former Porsche salesman. So this is just a salesman at the dealership. Former Porsche salesman pleads guilty to $3 million in fraud.
Okay.
Shiraz Sukrali.
Man,
Shiraz
somehow
Sukrali.
that name does not sound trustworthy. What's
I
your
don't
name?
know.
Shiraz Sukrali.
Sukrali.
I'm out of here.
He could spend the next 20 years.
Not Shiraz.
Yes, he's going to spend the next 20 years in federal prison. I'm
Man.
not going to say pound me in the ass prison. That's fine. 20 years in federal prison after pleading guilty to perpetrating a $3 million fraud.
Damn.
The former salesman for Champion Porsche of Pompano Beach, Florida, excuse me, I can't even read today, Pompano Beach, Florida, admitted to falsifying at least 30 sales orders to pocket the down payments.
Oh, really? What kind of down payments?
I mean, he's selling Porsches.
Oh, that's got to be a good down.
So, I mean,
Wow.
let's look at, say, 20%?
Hey, yes,
10%?
true. Most people buying Porsche pay cash.
I wouldn't think that.
I'd pay cash. I mean, why would you finance a Porsche?
A lot of people are going to finance
You
it.
think so? Maybe at least one. I can't.
I think it's the people who really can't afford it that need to flex as if they do. The people who can't afford it don't give a shit what you think.
There you go.
Hey, that's
Yeah,
a thought right
that's
there.
a thought,
So if you
man.
see someone driving a Porsche, they're broke.
Yeah.
Telling you.
Or they paid cash for it. That one of the two.
Yeah, so this guy was taking it. All right, so let's say the car is what, $70,000?
Oh, yeah, on the low side.
All right, so
If it's new,
yeah.
yeah.
So let's call it 70 grand.
Okay.
Okay. Let's call it 10%.
$7,000.
$7,000.
That ain't a whole lot.
Doesn't sound like a whole lot, but if you did it over a few years,
Oh.
because he got a total of $30 million. I'm sorry,
Oh.
$3 million. $3 million.
Okay, well that's a lot of deposits he's taking.
Yeah.
Well, how did the guy comes back, hey, I gave you $7,000 for my down payment. I only owe you another $93,000.
I don't know how he did it.
They would say, hey, dude, where's that $7,000 that guy
That's
put down?
430 cars,
The dealership had to be in on that deal.
possibly.
You know,
I mean, because they're not just going to end up missing
But here's the
400
thing.
some odd cars.
My
They're like,
boy, my boy should have took a fucking wire, put it on, went back. What we do with all the extra money I took in from deposits?
Yeah, no joke, right? But anyway, I mean, hey, don't steal. It's kind of it's a
Although-
bad thing, okay?
although those that wear wires end up somewhere. What rhymes with wires? I don't know.
Yeah, you make this stuff up, don't you?
Forget it. Never mind.
All right, so number 5 in Kentucky.
In
Up in
Kentucky.
yeah. Dealer.
That's the chicken guy.
Yeah,
KFC.
he fried some chicken.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Named his company after it. So, Kentucky dealer charged with leading $4 million in repurchase fraud.
What's repurchase fraud?
Aha! I'm so glad you asked that, Sydney, because I had to research it
I saw it
myself.
on the cue card right there.
So sometimes you've heard of like recalls, right?
yeah.
Okay. So same thing works with the vehicle. If there was something wrong with it, you could bring it back, kind of like a lemon law.
Yeah.
How, you bring it back and then give you another one, right?
There you go.
All right. So if there were certain rulings for say a company said actually this particular model between this year and this year,
Yeah.
it had a chronic issue, say for instance with the engine or transmission or something like
The
that.
pneumatic sauce wasn't correct.
Exactly. It was constantly leaking headlight fluid. So you could bring the car back and they'll buy it back from you. If you turn it in, they'll
How
buy
the
it
hell is
back
that
from you.
fraud?
Well, here's what they did. This is where we get down to it. This is the meat and potatoes. So what they did was they went to the salvage auctions,
Yeah.
bought 350 of these particular trucks. They stole the identities of, I think it was 120 people.
Yeah.
Got copies of their driver's license.
Oh.
Titled the vehicles in their name.
Oh.
And then sold them to the dealership on a buyback program.
How much they make?
$4 million.
How long take them to do it?
It doesn't say how long they were running this, but I'm guessing right in the midst.
$4 million bucks. How much freedom they giving up now?
Facing 30 years in prison.
Woo, bad deal.
Yeah. Yeah. $4 million, and you know that money had to go back.
Oh,
to the
yeah.
dealership, so.
Yeah, well, if they were smart, they took it out in cash and buried it somewhere.
If they were smart. But if they were smart, they wouldn't have done this shit in the first place.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about this stuff. So anyway, number 4, Hyundai claims dealer fraud forced $5 million in repurchases. Once again, it's another repurchase scam. So Hyundai accused Pittsburgh used car dealer Christopher Pantillis.
Oh, Pantillis. How come these people have fucked up last names?
I don't know. Everyone's an individual.
I guess.
Not everyone can be named Young.
Well, we try. Anyway.
So they charged the dealer, Christopher Pantillis, of buying approximately 600 used Hyundais. And it was a Hyundai Sonata 2011 and 2014, just FYI. And was sentenced to 4.5 years in prison in order to pay $8 million in restitution. Now,
he paid it, didn't he?
He actually only profited $6.6 million.
And he has to pay back 8?
He has to pay back 8.
That's wrong.
I know, right? So Bakhtiari admitted to embezzle. No, wait, no, I'm looking at the wrong one. Excuse me. All right, I'll go to the other one. On the buyback
That sounds
program.
stressful, man. You know, you got to buy a bunch of cars. You got to sell them back to the dealership. That's a lot of work. I'm too lazy for all that.
Right? Well, this guy in particular, because I had to read up a little bit more on him. It wasn't just in this article that I was reading. So he ran this dealership, and he owned another one.
A legitimate one.
One of the little used car lots.
Oh, okay.
So he would go to the salvage auction.
That's where he sold the
buy
sucker.
the car, sell it to this dealership.
Yeah.
Then the dealership would they don't know how he did it, but they would fuck up the engine to where it wouldn't work anymore.
Oh.
And then they would take it to the dealership that he worked at, that he was the general manager of. So he'd approve all this shit. So this dealership brought it to this dealership. He'd approve the buyback, and they're buying it back at 150% of the retail value.
Damn.
So if you're going to a salvage auction, you're paying 20% of the retail value because you got to fix it up.
Yep.
And yeah, made a lot of money. And then spent 4.5 years in prison. Still ain't worth it. Not worth it. Yeah. Then we got number 3.
Number
I missed number
3.
3. So former GM gets 4 years, owes $8 million for embezzlement.
That's it?
The former general manager of Sonnen Motor Cars in Marin County, California, Audi and Volkswagen dealerships, Amir Bakhtiari was sentenced to 4.5 years in prison and ordered to pay $8 million in restitution.
Okay, let me ask you something. These suckers let's say you made how much you make on this scam?
$8 million.
Okay. Do you think he leaves that laying around a bank account?
Doubt it. You really couldn't, because then the IRS would find it.
So what do you do with it?
We don't know. I mean, it could be buried somewhere. You could have given it.
And so now they say you go into jail. When you get out, you got to pay the $8 million.
Yep.
Oh.
So no, he's paying the $8 million. I mean, prior to going into prison.
What if he don't? What are you gonna do? Throw him in jail?
Why always have to make this difficult? They have their ways of getting that shit out of him.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
But I mean, he agreed to pay the $8 million.
Yeah, of course.
Apparently,
he
had it.
Yeah.
So Bakhtiari admitted to embezzling $6.6 million from 2009 to 2016. They say he admitted to submitting phantom invoices for non-existent advertising in a scheme that allegedly involved at least 2 accomplices, and paying himself several unearned bonuses.
Did he rat on accomplices?
No, they were not listed, at least. In the
a thief with honor
in the report. So.
A thief with honor.
Yeah. Hey, so
he didn't rat no one out because snitches get stitches.
Still doing 4.5 years in prison.
Yeah, but he went there without ratting out the others.
Right. I guess that's good for him.
Don't ever go against the family.
Yeah. Before we get to number 1,
we're on number 2.
That was number 2.
Oh,
that was number 3. No, yeah, we got number 2. You're right. Okay. So, Fiat Chrysler Automobiles was slapped with a $40 million civil penalty suit.
$40 million.
by the SEC for following an investigation into falsified sales reports.
God.
So this is the actual company falsifying their sales reports to boost their stock. Because it's the SEC that is actually doing
They're the stock
the cushion
boosting
pushing
monitoring people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at issue, there were a series of press releases published between 2012 and 2016 and allegedly designed to mislead the public and include and it was all included in the factory's SEC filings. So they got a $40 million civil penalty. That's a lot of cheese.
That's a lot of cheese.
Now they had the money to pay it.
And speaking of cheese, guess what?
We can.
It has nothing to do with cheese. Just said that.
Man,
anyway, we're taking another deep funk commercial. No longer in business. We'll be right back.
Sun in my window, earth below. Touch me down, don't let me go. Flying high, you and me. Flying high, you and me.
Kingfisher Airlines. Fly the good times.
All right, we're back for the final segment. All right, talking about these people in jail for car fraud deals. Who's number one?
Number one is not what you think it is. Number one's actually a winner.
Oh,
We got a winner on this one.
I don't understand.
All right, so California dealer wins $15.8 million in a Toyota lawsuit.
Oh,
Southern California Toyota dealer Roger Hogan refused to back down from his
you
claims.
know why? He's the first guy with a normal name.
Yeah. Normal names rock, apparently. So he refused to back down on the claims that the original equipment manufacturer had retaliated against him for his vocal opposition to selling the 2010 to 2014 Priuses, which Hogan said were built with faulty inverters. A jury found Toyota liable for breach of contract for withholding inventory and awarded $15.8 million.
I got a faulty inverter. What should I do?
Invert it.
Oh, okay. 15.
Yeah. It's not a bad joke like a dad joke.
15 million.
15 million.
Okay, what is a faulty inverter?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know?
Fine. You call your brother. He's a mechanic.
Yeah.
And invert shit.
Did you invent that? No, inverted it. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Or like on Top Gun. It's like, no, we were inverted.
That's funny. Anyway,
right.
for
He
those
didn't
you
know Top Gun.
for those you from 1931 to watch Top Gun, hey, you know what? There's all types of BS scam shit going on out there. We deal with it with people that submit their deals to us and think that we don't know what a fake bank statement looks like.
Yeah. When the numbers don't line up and they don't add up.
And he verifies them.
Hell yeah.
He will call and get a bank statement verified. He will call and get docs verified. Christina back there does the same thing.
Wave, Christina.
You can't you can't take a snapshot of your bank account and submit that. And
Yeah,
think
screenshots don't work.
yeah, so in this business we run across a lot of BS. People that say they have money that don't, because you got to have money to do a deal. Anyway, all the fraud going on out there. You know what I'm saying?
There is quite a bit out there.
Yeah.
I mean, and what's funny is a lot of people will try to lie about things, thinking that we're not going to find out about any of it. And anytime you're going to be doing a loan that's going to have to go through underwriting, that's underwriting's job. They're going to find out.
Yeah. So, anyway, go to Allura Financial, allurafinancial.com, where you see it right there. Give us a call. Let's go over your deal. This has been the Closing Tale of the Money Guys. My name's Sidney Young.
And Jared Parrish.
We're the Money Guys, and we got
Your
your
money.
money. Adios.